Really? That's Let me,
Okay.
here we
Okay.
go. So we are doing our 60 minutes for the workshop, Wealth Keys workshop. And I'm here with Angie Kelley, and it's a Saturday, which is cool because it's, catch up day for me and maybe for you, Aaron. So
Mm.
where would you like to begin? I just will start by saying I have the PDF that I need to send you, but I wanted to take a note from Dr. Smiles about putting the scriptures in there. Is that something that would be beneficial?
Oh,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
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 So I'll add the scriptures and I'll stop it from moving because it's a playbook. Elaine taught us how to do this playbook. So it's always moving, but you kind of need it to stop to print. So I will do that. So you'll get that
Gotcha.
after the call.
Gotcha. Yeah. I haven't created one of those yet for my
No.
challenges, but that's kind of one of my next things to add in.
Do you have a template? Do you have like a
Uh,
template to go by?
I don't.
Okay, well, I could share the template because she tells you basically, so let me write this down. Uh, so there's a template for the playbook and it has different sections. Like it starts out, of course, with the cover, but then it goes into like a 30,000 viewpoint. It's very detailed, but you can modify it however you want. I've done several of them a little differently. So I need to send you the template for the playbook, which will be helpful. It's in a Google Doc, so it'll tell you, what to do
Okay.
on pages 1 through 30, I think it is. You can have up to 30 pages. And then I'll do the PDF for the workbook with scriptures. Because a lot of that was spontaneous Holy Spirit. I mean, I did
Mm.
have a few, outlined, and then some of the stories, he just gave it to me right then and there. I was like, okay, what story am I going to tell? It was like kind of like the Jordan. I'll tell you when you get
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh.
oh, that's faith though. That's faith, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So where are you with what you have going on, and how can I be of service?
Yeah. So I'm in the tutoring field, and there's a part of me that that's kind of like that's what's in my hand, you know. Uh, and there's a part of me though I know that just in general the tutoring business is not as lucrative as some other areas, but within the tutoring sector, like ACT prep, SAT prep
Yes.
is where more of the money is. You
Right.
know, because there's only uh there's uh there's a the going rate for just regular class tutoring, there's there's a certain range, people will be willing to pay, so it caps out.
Right.
um but I've got a team. I've got about 4 or 5 people working with me now, and so I'm looking to so I'm wanting to continue to bring in students for the regular schoolwork tutoring, but to then have the other tutors take them on, so I'm not adding any of those clients. But I'm personally, I'm looking to go after ACT and SAT, and to build up that side, to bring in more income, obviously,
Right.
impact,
Right.
right? but
Right.
but
Right.
to bring in more income
Right.
faster.
So that would be more like your higher ticket item, the higher collegiate sort of prep
Hmm.
work, because people
Hmm.
are willing to pay, yeah,
Yeah.
premium dollar for that. And then do you charge more for a condensed package as opposed to a longer term package, or had you thought about that?
Well, I kind of have, they're typically spaced, they're usually about 6 weeks apart, 6 or 7 weeks. So I do a 6 week uh small group
Hmm.
offer. But then I have a guarantee, if they don't hit a 5-point increase, they can stay in the program until they do. And
And how many people have taken you up on that?
well, since I put it in, I've only had one student. Since I put it in, I've only had one student who actually uh, had a pre had a they had because they have to have just the conditions are, they have to have a pre-test score. They have to
Mm.
show up to all the sessions and then take an actual ACT for comparable. So I've only had one student actually do all of that, and she increased 5 points. So
Oh, good.
so I was
See
excited.
that. See
Yeah,
that.
I was
Yeah.
excited for her. So um I've had a few other students not hit the 5 point increase, but they either, you know, or they didn't have an official score to start with, or they
Oh,
missed some of the sessions, so that kind of thing. Um,
is,
but
is
anyway, but
that
that's kind of,
is that your condition? They have to actually attend all the training in order to benefit from the guarantee?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I think that's fair.
That's
I
more
know,
than fair.
I know things come up and people get sick or whatever, but um, I don't know if there's any. I just don't think it's to provide some sort of makeup work or something. I don't know, because I haven't, these are right now I'm doing in person. So recording that kind of thing is just a little harder.
Yeah.
Uh, so, um,
So how could you make a greater impact if it's in person? How do you shift it to virtual? Is that something you're thinking about doing?
yeah. So this next round, I'm starting a group on January 7, which will be 6 weeks out from the February ACT. And I'm going to do an in person, and I'm going to offer an online as well.
Oh, good. Good.
So I'm going to see, um, yeah, going to see how that goes.
So how are you canvassing your online people? Are you doing some organic reach or are you thinking about running ads?
Yeah, I'm doing organic.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm going to see how that goes. And, yeah, I'm going to start there.
Good. Are you like on what's your social media preference? Do you have a preference of which platform you use more often?
Facebook.
Okay. And that's probably, I'd say Facebook is where the older people are
Mm,
and the younger people are on TikTok. So
okay.
if you want to reach the ones that have the need, TikTok and Instagram. Because Facebook, what I'm finding, even because I have a daughter that's 23, she's turning 24, one that's 28, turning 29, and one that's 36, turning 37. And they are all off Facebook. They have a
Mm,
limited on Facebook, but they're all on Instagram and they're all on TikTok.
mm,
So I'd say the 30s and under are not on Facebook, at least as much as older. And when I say older, it's like 30 and over, 30 and over. The younger ones they might have a profile there, but they're not actively engaged. So even
yeah,
if you were to start engaging in those other two social media platforms, even like with Facebook, you can have all your posts linked to Instagram. That's one
mm,
way of kind of duplicating. That's the word I'm looking for. Duplicating it. And then if you haven't opened a TikTok account, I mean, I was personally kind of like, I want to do TikTok. That's kind of like for little, but no, a lot of influencers are on TikTok. They're seeing that they are capturing that generation that's tired of the old school stuff, but
mm,
then yet they still have a need for old school stuff. When I say old school, it's just older people, So you might consider using at least duplicating on Instagram. And then if you don't already have a TikTok account, open one and you'll see you can add all your friends from Facebook. So it
mm,
won't be that hard to kind of grow and then some of the ones that you're friends with maybe on Facebook that haven't been engaging, might start engaging on TikTok.
Okay.
Do you have a TikTok account or
I
Instagram?
do. I actually just created one the other day because some friends of mine and we were kind of joking. One friend mentioned um that she has a friend who's she's a client actually, and she's a dog groomer, and she started posting dog grooming videos on YouTube, and her she has like 20,000 followers on YouTube. And so now
Wow.
she gets sponsorships from Purina.
Wow.
She's pulling in thousands and thousands of dollars a month just from sponsorships from these
That's a
dog
tip.
companies.
That's a tip too. YouTube. I didn't mention that, but YouTube. Like all of these, all of the videos that I do, I repurpose them on YouTube and I make them unlisted, which means whoever has that link can watch it.
Okay.
That's what you can do for your tutoring. But you could also, if you want to do just a little video yourself and you want to tell people about it, you
Mhm.
can put that on and make it public and do a premiere. So you could do a
Okay.
public premiere, start creating some subscribers to all your students, all people who are paying. Say, I have a YouTube channel. Hopefully you have one or you could create
I
one.
do.
I have a YouTube channel and I want you to subscribe and then make your premiere video the one about your tutoring. I mean, the high ticket one. Maybe you could do both. Just maybe just collapse. I'm losing words. Uh, Put it together in a basic way to say, "Hey, I saw one that you did on Facebook actually, and I liked it." So something like that, where you're talking about a result, because that's what people want to hear.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, you're doing that, but what's the result? Say, lead with the result and then end with, you can have it too. And if you're looking for, similar results or you have a student, and I like that you have the excitement and enthusiasm in your voice because that permeates too. So before you do the video, just think, I love what I do. I love, just those affirmations, to kind of draw people in because they're going to be attracted to what you're saying as a result and how you say it. So yeah, I've been watching your videos and like I think most of them you've putting in the story though, right? You're putting in the story for Facebook. You're not doing like a reel. You know what a reel is?
I don't. I'm doing live. I'm doing Facebook
It's
lives.
live. Okay.
So I
Okay.
thought they were just going to my page. They're going into the story.
Some some of them are going into story. So there's
Okay.
three things for live. Okay. There's the story, which you can do in Facebook Live. There's the like news feed, which
Yeah.
kind of goes out to everybody. And then there's the live. So it's kind of like, oh, the reel, excuse me, the reel. The reel was before the live. So the story is very short. The reel is 1 minute to a minute and a half, and the live can go on and on and on. What
Okay.
I love about reels, because I do reels every day, is reels limit you to a time. So you have exactly 1 minute for, I don't know, over 400. I've been doing them 482. Today will be 483. But I've noticed they used to cut me off at a minute, a minute, a minute. Now they've extended my time to 90 seconds. So I
Oh,
actually get a little bit more time. So the more, I guess Facebook loves to see, consistency. So if you're doing something every day, even if you do a short, I'm doing reels. I mean, you could choose to do a story if you really want it really short, but a reel, you'll have 1 minute and maybe just write out something that you want to say for 1 minute, practice it, and then hit the reel, REEL,
uh-huh.
on Facebook and do it. And you'll see it gives you the option to put music, to do features, to do noise reduction. Like I would probably do noise reduction with the dog barking, noise reduction, you can put stickers on it. There's all sorts of little things you can do. And there's something else you could do if you have like a subject matter expert, you could actually be talking to, they could be doing the talking and you could be agreeing with it. So it gets real elaborate. I haven't taken it that far. I've just been doing a message every day with a 60 seconds to minute and a half. But that's
Okay.
something I would definitely recommend you start practicing that, because that's what's gonna draw people in. Because when they see the story, it goes away. So it's not lasting. It's not gonna stay there too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so does it go into your news feed then? Like as a regular post?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So people who have notifications set up, they see they see the reel was posted, and I have consistent people that watch it all the time. All the time. I have consistent people that like it all the time. And the people that watch it, I can see that they're watching, but they won't like it and they won't comment. But I know they're like in that background. So I don't know if you know how to capture. So if you see that, like if you do a reel about this that's coming up, especially before January 7th, then you could see all of those people in the background that are interested, but they don't want everybody else to know they're interested. Then you could private message them. I'm not sure how it works in TikTok and Instagram. I'd have to explore that, how you can see what's in the background. But I think with Instagram, people do more like if they see something, they private message you. Like, because I see that a lot because my reels go there too, and I'll get a private message, private message. I don't know what it is. A lot of people, at least in my field, I've seen that they don't want everybody to know that they're interested.
I'm kind of like that. I just want to, I'm just going to look, I'm just going to
Yeah,
watch and
yeah, yeah. Background. That's funny. It's funny. I'm kind of like that too. And now that I'm in the forefront, I see how I don't benefit myself being my own student, you know? So I'm like,
uh-huh.
okay, I have to think like I think, when I'm doing this. So people in the background are still interested. So that's a key, that they're still
Mhm.
interested. They just don't want everybody else to know. So
Mhm.
then you could follow up with them directly, because then they'll engage. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's good. That's key.
Okay.
That's key.
And so the reel is it's also live though, right? You're doing it live.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. But with the reel, if you don't like what you said, you can re-record. So it will go live, it'll post live, but you'll you'll get an opportunity to change it. So it's not pre-recorded because you're doing it right then and there, but you don't have to. You can trash it if you don't like it. Like I've started out some of them, and I'll start coughing in the middle, or grandkids will come in, or dog will start barking, and I can't hear. I'm like, "Let's start this over," and I'll hit edit, what does it say? It says edit, re-record, or something like that. So I mean, it's forgiving. It's forgiving. Whereas Facebook Live, people have to forgive you.
Uh-huh.
You have to
Uh-huh.
forgive your bloop up, but you can forgive yourself by saying, "Okay, I messed up. I'm gonna re-record that."
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes the
So,
mess up ones are the best ones, though, right?
yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, I know sometimes I'm like, I say something and then I doubt and then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not sure. Is that, is it 35 questions in 40 minutes? 40 questions in 35 minutes? I don't know, guys. It's one of those. You
For
just go,
real, for real. Yeah. Sometimes you forget. Yeah, you're
yeah.
human. You're human.
So
Yeah.
like long, so then if I wanted to do, so if I do a reel every day, if I wanted to do, because 1 minute, that's not a whole lot of information. Like that's pretty fast. So then
Right.
I could maybe just do it. Maybe I could just do a written post for longer material,
Yeah.
like to add value with things. Like if I'm sharing test strategies or
And that would be a lie. So your reel, think of a reel as a commercial. Your
yeah,
reel is a commercial. And then your Facebook Live is your whatever you want to elaborate on. So you could even reference the reel and say, I did a reel earlier today, and it was on this test strategy. I want to take you a little deeper and give you a little more insight
I
on
see.
what I do, because you're referring back to you, what I do with my students. And these are the successes. So you always want to lead with the success and how you're helping them to get the success.
Okay. Okay. So I need to, yeah. So instead of saying these are effective strategies that will help your teen, I need to say these are strategies that I use with my students, just like Carly, who went from a 20 to a 25.
Yes,
These are
yes,
strategies she used. We worked through and okay. Like,
yes,
okay.
yes, yes. And then the result, what was the result? The
Yeah.
result was it increased her score, um, whatever the result was. Because people, okay, test strategies, okay, that's good. But what's the result? You were able to hit a higher level of, and I don't remember the test, so I don't know the terminology, but higher level of success rate. I don't know. What
Mhm.
would you call it? What would you call the result?
Well, it'd be increasing their score from, from a 22 to a 25, or,
Okay.
there's a very direct measurement.
Okay. Okay. Then I would say that it's a direct correlation. The work that I do with my students is a direct correlation to increase of 5 points or more, or whatever direct correlation to significant increase. I mean, I don't know if you want to use a specific number or just leave it general. But if you have that guarantee, then you might want to put that in there.
Hmm.
They not only do I provide this, but I also have a guarantee that you will reach this. And if you don't, we'll have some, I don't know what you call it, you'll be able to continue in the program till you
Hmm.
achieve it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Words are powerful. So using the right languaging. Yeah. So writing out what you're gonna say and just remember to keep it results oriented. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you hear the benefits in features, but what's the result?
Yeah. Okay. And then what do you think about just like written posts?
Those are good too if you put pictures with it. Like if you
Okay.
had a test score that you can marry up, like if you have one here and one there, pick out whatever information so it's redacted so you don't have people's personal information, but you have before and after. Those are
Hmm.
powerful, before and after.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you have it in terms of that. I don't know if they share it with you in writing. How do they share their results? They just come back to you and tell you how they did?
Yeah, one parent did send me a screen because they get the
Oh,
results online, and so
hmm.
she took a screenshot of the scores,
Oh,
and she did send me before she had taken the test before we started meeting
oh, good.
that screenshot. It's fun. So I'll ask you about the quality, because the second screenshot it's really good quality because she took it from her cell phone.
Hmm.
The first one, she was looking at the computer screen and she took a
Oh,
photo from her computer screen. I mean, I could,
oh,
so that one's a little janky. So I
okay.
don't know if that would still be okay or not. I could ask her in the future that they've got a lot of stuff going on. Right, their horse just died yesterday. So,
Oh, oh,
so I wouldn't want to ask her now, but
no.
maybe for the future I could ask her for the first
Hmm.
screenshot from her phone.
Right. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
could I go ahead and use it as it is?
Yes, yes. You
Okay.
don't have a lot of time before the 7th, so
Right.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
would, I would hit it, just because it's real. It came from, this is the result provided to you from a parent.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you didn't take the picture, so you're not trying to make it all pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that could be something I could add in
Hmm.
as a part of their when they fill out the application, to give me a screenshot from their phone of their current test score.
Yes, yes. That will help you in future marketing, as
Yeah.
well as help them to see. what their true results are, because they want to also see before and after. So it's a
Yeah.
win-win-win-win. Everybody wins. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Screenshots.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then Karen Hudson, I'm in MMA, the
Okay.
movement maker.
Me
And
too.
Karen's
Me too.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's been good. I can't catch live because of my school schedule, but I try to keep track later. But Karen suggested that I'm working on typing up so I don't have ClickFunnels yet. So I'm creating a Google form, and then
Okay.
right now I'm using QuickBooks for my finances.
Mhm.
And so in that the Google form will be the registration, and then I'm going to attach a payment link in that from QuickBooks. I can make a payment link and put it in that Google Doc.
Okay.
And then I'm also Karen suggested I reach out to a few, because I've got about, from the school that I work at, there's about 750 students, but I have direct access to about 100 of them. They've either taken a free practice test with me, or
Mhm.
they've done something directly with me,
Okay.
even if it's through the school. I feel like that they're fair game.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and uh, and then, but and then just my Facebook, I've been posting on Facebook, but then Karen suggested, and it may be a little early, but she suggested there are a couple of other private schools in the area. So I'm creating basically a PDF to send to their principal, their counselor, a couple of the math teachers that I know, and just to say, hey, if you know any students who might be interested, right?
Like
I'm
a
offering this
marketing
again.
flyer. Like a
Yeah.
marketing flyer?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
So,
Because they don't have time. Yeah, they don't have time to canvas. So you could be that resource for them.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
And I would
mhm,
say not just private schools, but public schools too. Because there's some people in accelerated programs in public schools.
mhm, mhm.
At least I know around where I live, they have, what do you call that advanced? Uh, I forgot what they call it, but there's a like advanced math students, and they
Mhm.
have a
Placement,
STEM.
advanced placement.
Yeah, advanced placement. They have that in most of the high schools, at least in our area. And I would think in your area too. But if you're thinking about your reach going beyond your local community, then I think that marketing piece will take you a lot further than you think. And you could have the principals and well, I don't know about the students. Yeah, the principals as your point of contact. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. How are you reaching out to the private schools?
Well, yeah. So I teach at one.
Oh,
Um,
easy.
yeah, I'm mostly there more for tutoring. I would not want to teach I would not want to teach a full schedule. No way. Not anymore. Uh, and So I mostly do tutoring there, and we've gotten an after school ACT program going there as well, but it's more of like an intro to the ACT. Like they really, I mean, it's good, but like if they want to increase their score, they really need more. Um, so, uh, so I'm there. So I have the email again. I have about 100 emails from that school, 100 sets of parents, and then
Wow.
then then there are two other schools where, through my tutoring company, we tutor students from there. And so, like, I email some teachers more than others, but uh, I have an email relationship with some of the teachers, and
Hmm.
like I send them the gift cards at Christmas and
Oh, nice.
things like that. I kind of feel like a pharmaceutical rep going in with it, you know.
You
But
have some supplies.
exactly, I've got some good things for you. I got some goodies for you. But so I've got, but I don't know. their teachers are busy, even principals, admin, like, they
Right,
are really busy. And so it's like, even presenting that, the question, what's in it for me, right? That's what
right,
we all ask.
right,
And so
right.
presenting it from that frame of how I'm helping them, not just their students, but helping them in their school by this offer. So I'm still kind of working on that language, but
I
um
think you
but-
just said it. What's in it for me? That's a
mhm,
really good lead.
mhm.
That's a lead to what you're providing value to, not just not just for the student, but also to provide that resource for the teachers, for the schools. You're the resource dealer. Resource dealer. I like the what's in it for me. Yeah,
Gotcha. So
I like that.
yeah. And then so there's a February test, and then I'll start it back over because there's an April test.
Oh wow.
Um
Almost every month.
so yeah, they're stretched out about, well, there's February, April, June, July,
Oh, okay.
and then
Every quarter? Like,
September, October, December.
okay. So it's like every quarter, two a quarter, something like that.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
So are you working your challenges around those dates, like 6 to 7 weeks before test dates?
Yeah,
Or are you,
yeah. Yeah, so what I'm considering my challenges right now are the workshops through the school, because
okay.
it's kind of an entry level deal. Um,
Mhm.
and so I start, and we do those, the school administration wants us to do those the week before or the week of an ACT.
Oh,
Uh, and so um,
kind
so
of
what
like a
I do,
crash. Is that like a crown? Like a
yeah,
crown?
yeah, which yeah, which I don't particularly like, but um you know. uh, but I'm going with it. And I pulled in a couple of other teachers actually to help me with some of the sections just to take some workload off of me. So that's what I'm kind of treating as my challenge, because right now we've got it at like $97, which is a very low price for all I mean, it's a very low price for all they're getting. Uh, but $97, and I email the parents as soon as they sign up. I start emailing the parents to try to build some relationship and start adding value, serving the parents. And I've got video. I send them a video every day, and about the ACT or strategies, that kind of thing. Um, and uh, and then the school, I told the school up front, if I'm going to do this for this low of a price, like, you need to give me room to make a private offer.
Right.
So, after the workshop, I reach out and, um, for my 6-week program, because some
Good.
of them aren't actually taking the ACT. Some of them just sign up because it's being offered. Like,
Oh,
they're not taking it that week.
time. Okay.
But the problem is that it takes it takes about 3 weeks to get their scores back. So just the timing's a little clunky, but it's kind of like the best I have right now. So, and even if
Right.
they don't catch that cycle, I'm still reaching out to see if they're interested in like a cycle away.
Okay. And then what are your expectations from, sounds like you have kind of your database already with 100, but what is your expectation for your results, like number wise? So out of 100, are you expecting maybe 10%, 5%? And then out of that 10% or 5%, are you looking at maybe another percentage of those taking that higher ticket?
So out of the 100, yeah, I'd say maybe 5% on the 6-week course.
Okay.
And I do have some students reaching out for, like, they don't want to do the 6-week course. They just want a little help. So I need to decide, I either need to raise my individual hourly rate. I just need to figure out something a little better there.
Yeah. So the 6 week is a group.
Yes.
Okay. And then the individual ones, that almost would be a higher ticket because
Mhm.
you're giving them all of your time, whereas you get to leverage your time with the course. Okay. And that
And
course is on,
I'm sorry,
no, I was just gonna say it's only $97,
the
6 weeks.
week long through the school is
Oh,
$97, but mine I had it for nine, because I'm honestly just, I've tutored a long time. I've even done ACT tutoring for a long time, but I haven't really, I wasn't thinking of it as a business, so I didn't really keep track of results, and
oh,
you know what I mean? So
gotcha.
I'm kind of really building it now as a business. So
Okay.
I had it set at 495. Uh, but now that I've gotten at least one result with this girl, this round I'm raising it to 595.
Okay.
And I'm gonna limit each group to 6 students, the
Okay.
online and in person.
Okay. And with those students in person, are they going to be in the same class as the online ones, or the online will be separate and you'll give them like a tandem 6 week?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do them separately. I'm kind of experimenting.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
because I think it might be too much for me to try to have a an in-person audience and also an online, and
Yeah.
engage both of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do them separately, which I know is kind of doubling my work, but I'm kind of experimenting
Right.
to
And once
see.
you get it down with the online ones, you might be able to create a course where
Uh-huh.
you could have them play the different sections of your course. So as you experiment with the online one, you might want to record it to where you're the speaker and you only have them come up when they have a question or you're actually working on something and you pin them. So you want to get that rhythm and start practicing that because you could use that as your individual one. You could, so they could go online. Basically, you'd have modules set up. I'll just say 10 modules. Your first
Yeah.
one would be your introduction. This is the lay of the land. This is what you need to expect. This is all the workbooks that you need. Gather all your materials, get it together, and I'll meet you in the next module, sort of thing. So you're going to take them step by step by step. And that will help you build your almost, what do they call them? Green, what do they call? Evergreen.
Oh,
You can create an evergreen. So you have all your material that you've created there, and you can repurpose that for new students. Say, when they want to sign up, this is what I have to offer. And the only time you really need to meet them, maybe face to face, is when you set it up and when they graduate at the end. So you're meeting them at the beginning, unless you want to have like check-ins, have appointments where I'm just going to do a check-in to see if you made it through the first week of modules. Maybe at the end of the week, you could have a weekly check-in. So you've gone through the first uh, six, what is it? You have 6 weeks. So you've gone through the first week of training. So I'm just doing a weekly check-in. See if you have any questions, how you're doing. Boom, very short, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know, very short. And then the next week, you do a check-in because you're going to be checking in with many students. So you could have your calendar for the weekend to just do check-ins because you've created all this coursework where all they have to do is click the button, click the button, click the button. That's what I see for you. I don't know where that came from, but that's what I see for you. You can create, like you said, you're experimenting. But as you experiment, don't underestimate the value of what you're creating. Use a platform that you want, whether it's Zoom. So with Zoom, again, you could take it and repurpose it into a YouTube video, which you can make it an unlisted link, and that could start stacking your course because YouTube's free. And if you decide you want to do your reels and you feel good about them and you want to upload them into YouTube and make them uh, premiere so that you can start driving traffic to your course. So I'm excited to excuse the background noise.
No worry, no worry. Okay. Just the issue, so like kids are gonna, I guess part of it is just navigating, like it's so important that students, so like they'll practice, then they'll practice content, they'll practice strategy while they're doing that, and then they'll need to actually practice some test questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important to go back and look at the ones they got wrong and figure out why they got them wrong. Like that is such an important part of making progress quickly. And so just how to uh like a like a uh like I'm just like I love the idea of a weekly check-in, but like a 15-minute uh like that's just figuring out how to help them.
Have them send you their results, kind of like you do in school, right? You grade their work and you assess where they're at to see how to help them. So as you have your modules set up and they're going through them, you'll have some sort of tests or quizzes. I'll call them quizzes. You'll have some quizzes along the way, and they will just have to show when they took the quiz how they arrived at the answer. Not just the answer, but how they arrived at the answer. Because kids are resourceful. They go online, they use Chat GPT, they figure all this stuff out, and they just give you an answer. But does that mean they really know the answer? Maybe not. So that show your work sort of thing. I remember in school we had to, I don't know if you have that as part of your process, but show your work. Show me what you're doing. Take a screenshot of it and send it in so that I can review it before our meeting. I don't know if that would be something that could work.
That's right.
What do you think
Okay.
about that?
Well, but just one the ACT, it is such, they have such short time that
Mm,
when they take their test, that I actually tell them, do not, if it's going to help you to write on the paper, write on the paper. But if you can do it fast, like the maths as an example, right? If you can do it faster, simply punching in your calculator, that's what you need to do on test day.
wow.
So, so just, so, so that's a little, so that's what I'm wanting them to practice. Now, obviously, if they need to write, if it helps them to write it down, or if it's more complicated,
Mm-hmm.
they need to write it down. But part of it is we're working on their speed. So
Okay.
yeah.
And they could say that they could write in their homework, I used the calculator and calculated this formula.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's another way, but I hear you, the speed. But for your check-ins, you're checking to see that what process did they use? Did they use the process of a calculator? Did they use the process of writing a chart? And what process did they use? Because you'll be able to speak to any of those processes in getting to the answer, whether it's the correct answer or not. You'll be able to kind of rewind and say, okay, you started with the right premise, but you put in the wrong numbers. So you put in the
Mm-hmm.
wrong numbers, you're going to get the wrong answer. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Great.
one thing we didn't do before we started is pray. So
Oh,
before we wrap up, yeah, I got to jumping right in like I normally do. So forgive me for that.
no, no worry. No worry. No worry.
Okay. So is
Well,
there anything else that we want to focus on before we wrap up?
I don't think so, but I would just love personally, Kathy, just to hear a little bit more about your
Sure.
journey
Oh, okay.
in
Sure.
entrepreneurship and how the Lord has led you. And so if you have a few, yeah,
Sure,
just
sure,
to,
sure. Okay, well, I was in the military for 10 years. I got out as a single parent and fell into real estate. I say fell into because I bought a house 1 month before I got out of the military, which is like you don't do that because you
Mm.
have to show that you have continued income, which I didn't have. I basically got out as a single parent and decided, when I bought my house, I had such a terrible experience. I said, this shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way for other people. So I ended up finding a decent realtor and ended up working at the same company that he worked at. And the first year was very challenging. And I said, because I had not known what entrepreneurship was, I heard the word, but didn't know what that really meant. I just knew that I had been W-2 all my life and I needed to make some money. And real estate appeared to be the way to do it. But that first year, I think I made $9,000. It was horrible. And as a single mom, I was like, I can't. So I told the broker at that time, they were called brokers and we were called agents. I said, I'm going to give this one more year. I said, but if I don't start making some money, I'm going to have to go get a job. And so that year I was awarded the Perseverance Award because I was like up late. I was just trying to make this thing work. And I think the next year I doubled my income was 18,000, which still was like me as a single mom, a homeowner. But thank God I had got a severance when I got out of the military. So I was riding on that severance, which was about to run out. Uh, and so every year my income pretty much doubled. So 9 to 18, then it was like 36,000, went up to 50,000, went up to 75,000, went up to 100,000. So every year was doubling. And so by the time I hit my seventh year, I became co-owner in the company that I was with, co-owner in the real estate brokerage. And that brokerage had so many people that I really enjoyed working with, but I was naive in the sense that owning a real estate company is going to be lucrative because it was not lucrative. It was very expensive. We had this big commercial space. It was huge. So at that time, I had met another owner of another real estate firm, and I brokered a deal with him. It was Remax, and I said, "We have all this debt. We have. There were 13. I was in ownership with 13 other people, and most of them weren't working full time. Most of them were retired. They didn't really care if they made money or not. I needed to make money to survive, not just for me, but for my daughter and to pay my expenses. So I brokered a deal with him he agreed to absorb all our debt. And we were able to start afresh at the company, but we had to be committed to be there for a certain period of time. So I stayed with that Remax firm for about 12 years and I got up to where I was making almost 300,000 a year, but I was so unhappy because it was just work, 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 work. And I was making money. It wasn't not satisfying. And the company, the people, the mentality there was pretty much, I don't know, it just felt like dog eat dog. I just didn't feel the satisfaction of how I started. I wanted to help people. It just my heart wasn't in it. So I was like, okay, still like real estate, but I don't like this environment. And I don't like I had actually gained the name Queen Ario Queen, which is real estate owned. I was the Fannie Mae broker representative. I had up to 100 assets. When I say I was like working up to here. I was working around the clock. I mean, I would get listings in like 7, 10, 15 listings a day. It was like unheard of. People were like, oh, but it was horrible. I was overworked. I was, and when you have all that business, there's expenses to go with those business, with that level of business. So as fast as it was coming, it was going. It was like one of those revolving doors. It was just coming in, going out, coming in, going out. So I basically have made the decision to just give it all up. I mean, not give it all up, but I wanted to leave and start anew. I wanted to start afresh. So what did that look like for me? I look back at one of the people I was in ownership with before at the former company, and I reached out. I said, "Do you want to open a another real estate company with me?" They were like, "Sure." I said, "What do you want to call it?" I said, "Imagine." I want to call it Imagine Real Estate. I said, because I want to imagine a place where there's possibilities for people to grow and have business and have a life, have a family, just to have, you know, can we have it all? I think we can. If we use godly principles, I think we can have it all. So she was like, sure. So I had devised this plan, right? So I had all this business. Remember, I had all this business. It was tied to my name. And it was tied to the company's name. So I'm thinking I get to take the business with me when I leave. No. When I went and told them that I wanted to leave, I didn't say I was opening my own company. I kind of kept that quiet. I just went in and said, I'm ready to, what did I say? I'm ready to unravel what I've created here. They were pretty upset with me and basically said, it's not going to, they didn't say it's not going to be easy. They said, all the business you have stays here with the firm. And I was like, really? And it's like, yeah. So I had property management too. I had at least 100 property management doors, like physical doors where I was the property manager. And so with those, I created a document, which they instructed me create a document of them to continue with me. They had a choice, right? They had been working with me, but if they wanted to stay with that firm, Remax, they could stay. And out of 100, I think about 90 of them stayed with me. About 90, yeah, about 90, maybe 95 stayed with me. And those other five or 10 stayed with the other firm, which I was fine with. And then with my big contract, my big Fannie Mae contract, which was making me all this money, they said that they were going to take over my contract because it was with the firm and it wasn't with me. So that was pretty devastating because I went from 300,000 to 100,000. But I mean, people will say that's not devastating. Well, it was and it wasn't. I mean, it was a change. It was a big thing. So once I opened the company, I opened it in January. We actually started seeing customers in April. That's when we started seeing people. And it was at a time, it was 2012, the market started to shift a little bit. We had just recovered from all the foreclosures and stuff, but people wanted to sell. It was kind of, so a lot of my property management business, they decided they wanted to sell. So I was like losing a lot of property management business through sales. And I don't mean to be too long. So I lost a lot of business through that. And then I ended up in November of the same year getting diagnosed with breast cancer. And so it was just so much going on. I was like, okay, I just started this business and here we go. So I ended up recruiting. Ended up recruiting a couple of new brokers. In January, I ended up having surgery. And the next January, I had surgery and cancer free. And I was like, okay. So that's why I needed to leave. I needed to leave to get well. I didn't realize all of this was in me. I was like, suffering in silence, but I was suffering emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It was just so, so heavy. It was like when I would walk in there, I would just feel it was like burden. Even though it was so much business, you would think, okay, there's so much prosperity, but all money's not good money, as my mother would say. All money's not good money. So, and all money is not, it's just not, you don't want to live for the dollar. You don't want to live for the money. You don't want money to be your God. And I felt like I was letting money be my God because I was being directed, you know, you got this and you work it to get the money. You got this, you work it to get everything was, focused. I think it was misguided. And so after the cancer, after being free from that and seeing the change in my family, they were like really scared for me because they were like thinking I was going to die. And I was like, I'm not going to, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to die. And I had made a commitment to God when I got the diagnosis because she called me, the nurse or doctor called me as I was on my way to another meeting of a real estate, on my way to a board meeting. And I was in a hurry. So I was like rushing her off the phone. And she said, are you sitting down somewhere? I said, I'm in a car, I'm getting ready to go into a meeting. She said, you have in situ carcinoma. I was like, what's that? She said, in situ carcinoma. I was like, does that mean it's inside of you? I didn't know what, I was like, it just didn't click with me. And so the only word that sounded like I could understand was carcinoma. So I was like, it sounds like cancer. She said, well, I can't say that because I'm not a doctor. And I'm thinking, why are you calling me to tell me this news? So she tells me this, and I go in this meeting and I'm just crying because I hadn't had chance to process any of this. So I just go into the meeting and I'm just looking like a deer in the headlights and just crying. And I'm like, and then in the meeting, taking notes, teardrops all on my paper. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's like so much heaviness. First, I left the heaviness. Now it's coming to me. Now it's visiting me. So I had sat in the car before I went into the meeting. I said, God, if this is cancer, I will not go through chemo. I will not go through radiation and I will live. And that's all I was just like, boom. But I still was like, "Wow." And so came home, ended up telling my family and stuff. They were like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Immediately, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. So I just started feeding myself on the word and I saw this thing from Creflo Dollar about healing scripture. So I just like soaked in healing scriptures. I was like, I really need some positive, I need to get filled up again. So I was like depleted. I was depleted from where I was before, and now I'm depleted from what's happening to me. I was like, I just need to be filled up. So I just kept filling myself up with scriptures. Then, went through the whole process and came back to work. And it was like the heaviness that I was feeling was lifted.
Mhm.
It was like when all those scriptures were pouring, it was like I was basking in the word. It was like that burden just lifted. It was like, thank you. Thank you. 'Cause it was so heavy for so long. And I didn't realize that I was burdened down so much. I just thought I was just a goer, a doer, a mover, a shaker, but I was just carrying all of that. Some of it was resentment, some of it was unforgiveness, some of it was darn right. I was feeling just upset that I didn't get the deals, I didn't get the business that I had, regret. I was like, okay, I learned to just let that go. I learned to forgive the people that me in this room that talked to me any old kind of way, that said things that were out of pocket. And I just was like, I'm just going to let that go, let it go, because it's not serving me. It's not serving
Mhm.
me. So here we are, fast forward. Oh, daughter's calling me. I was supposed to pick up my phone, son. I'll just say, can't talk now. I'll call right back. So that is that is kind of the long, short, abbreviated version
Mhm.
of entrepreneurship because owning the company, Imagine Real Estate Possibilities, has really opened up my mind to entrepreneurship because that's when I started looking online and seeing all these different opportunities. I joined 100X, all these different things that I joined. I was part of another group and Flimmer and Associates. I went through their entire leadership training and it's a samurai camp. So I went through all. So just started seeking ways to get filled up, ways to get filled up, leadership training, just all these different things that just helped me to grow. And I just said, okay, I'm not going to stop growing because I don't want to get back in that space where I'm in myself and I'm serving man and money. I don't want to. Yet I want the abundance that's there because the abundance helps you to make all these things possible to help and serve other people. So
Mhm.
I'm not um, against making money. Certainly not.
Gina,
Yeah.
no, to actually left my chocolate bunch.
Just a moment. I'm gonna call your auntie back. I'm gonna get off in a few minutes. Your Gmail is just getting a little talkative, so a little talkative. So I probably should end my story there, but that's really the kind of the full circle moment was, you know, yes. getting full in the word, and then having that revelation, that kingdom revelation that this is not all about what's happening down here. It's about the relationship that goes up to him and how he has placed me here to serve people and not just myself. So
Mm,
yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
moment, baby.
And so you're in real estate, and then you're also doing you're doing some coaching.
Yes,
Are
yeah.
those kind of the two pieces that you have right now?
No, I'm doing real estate. I'm doing some coaching. I'm doing syndication, which means I help people be, become part of an investment pool so that I can
Oh,
share profits with them in real estate deals. So it's like a higher level real estate spectrum.
okay.
I joined the Kingdom Options. I joined
Yeah.
insurance. So I'm about to get my insurance license. I just need to go take the test. So I'm a revenue octopus. I get my hands in. I'm in MMA too. So yeah, I full time, take care of my mom full time.
Mhm.
I'm
Wow.
her caregiver and grandkids part time, but that feels like full time.
Right.
Yeah, but
Wow.
it's all good. It's all good. If I wasn't doing it, I don't know. I would be bored. I like to serve. I like to be active. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So good. So good. Well, thanks for sharing, Kathy.
You're
It's
welcome.
inspiring. So
You're
appreciate
welcome. You're welcome.
appreciate all you've given us in the
Yeah.
uh last week or two. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. Well, we have more to go, and I'll be sending out a calendar for the probably the whole year, but I'll start with January because January has so many things going on. I want to make sure I accommodate all the different things that are going on and have something impactful that doesn't conflict with some other big things that are going on. So
Awesome.
awesome. And I'm glad you
Awesome.
told me about your dates. So January 7th is your challenge? 6 week?
It's my 6-week program.
Yeah. Okay. And what time of day is that starting?
What time of day?
Hmm.
It's gonna be kind of late afternoon, like I think
Okay.
3 o'clock Central.
Okay. Okay. Which is 1 p.m. Okay. 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 So a later in the afternoon, like 3 to 5 Pacific time would be 5 to 7 for you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. 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 Good. Good to know for planning purposes. Okay. Hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No, it's so good. So good. I appreciate you sharing.
You're welcome. Well, I'll have to hear your story next time because I talked way too long.
It was good. It was good. All right.
All right.
Appreciate you, Kathy.
All right. Take care. Oh,
Okay.
one more prayer before we go out. Thank you, Father, for this time with Angie.
Mhm.
God, I'm just asking you to prosper her in her business that she is developing, all the things that she is testing out, God. Just grant her mercy, peace, give her wisdom, guidance, and um, encourage her to stay the course. And I just thank you that she's come into my life and she's definitely encouraged me to continue. So thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for blessing her in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. All
All right.
right.
Okay. Talk
Peace.
to you soon.